Welcome to the Answers for Elders radio show. Meet the trusted experts who will give you straight answers and will help guide you on the path of later life care. Now, here's your host, founder, caregiver, and CEO, Suzanne Newman.
And welcome everyone to Answers for Elders radio show. And we are here broadcasting across the USA. And we're so excited to be doing a special program throughout this summer through September. And I'm going to it's called the Vitality Revolution, but I'm going to ask each and every one of you who are listening to the show today, think to yourself, what does wellness mean? Is it just physical? Is it just financial? Is it just what? What are the components that make for true wellness through living the best quality of life possible? And so we have found an amazing study, and it's called the 8 Foundational Principles of Wellness. And each month we are covering 2 of the 8 principles. In the month of June, we've been talking about physical and emotional wellness. And with special thanks to Humana as our main sponsor, we have their partner, their amazing person that is an independent agent for Humana, and her name is Lori Hudson. And Lori has several other podcasts on our platform, but we're going to be talking today. Welcome, first of all, Lori, to Answers for Elders Radio.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, we're excited to have you too, because emotional wellness, that is something that is maybe people pass over. They think, oh, well, if I'm in physical shape, everything's great. But there might be things in our lives that might be gnawing at us or making us feel a sense of anger or things like that. And it comes down to the fact that we want to talk about a very important topic, especially that goes on with families. And if you have a family member that you have some angst against, or, you're finding a difficult situation, maybe in communicating and caring for a loved one, or maybe it's towards the parent that you're caring for, we're going to talk today about forgiveness. And that is a very big topic. And we're going to talk about it as briefly, as much as we can in this hour. But more importantly, Lori and I have extensive content on our website, on our homepage called Forgiveness as well. So matter of fact, I share a very deeply personal story, and so does Lori. So please go over to Answers for Elders and learn more about it, because I think these are profound situations in all of our lives, and they're deeply personal. And for us to deal with this issue, Lori, thank you so much for coming forward. I am very excited to talk about this topic this week on the radio.
I so appreciate that. And I think you really hit it on the head with your statement about us holding on to things that we don't even realize we're doing. So before we start, I just want to put my disclaimer out there that I'm not a licensed healthcare provider. So I'm not a mental health provider. I'm just talking about some topics that come up in my life and then my clients, because I have been working with Medicare beneficiaries for over 20 years.
Yes.
Sometimes
yes.
I'm the ear. Sometimes I'm the only, if you can believe it or not.
Yeah.
Some of my clients, if I call them on their birthday, I might be the only person that calls them on their birthday, which is, kind of sad, but I want to be that ear for people. So sometimes they will just unload, which, it can be pretty profound, some of the things that come out. And so again, I think you really hit it when you said, that these are so deep embedded in us. And
They're
when we get to our
personal
age bracket,
Mhm.
some of these things we've been holding on to them since childhood, and we don't
Or
even
decades and decades and decades. And here's the thing. First of all, obviously, there's things that cause resentment. Resentment, anger, betrayal, different things like that. What do you find is most common, Lori, with families? What do you hear in the stories of what kind of resentments people have as an average?
Well, I think again, sometimes things can stem all the way back to childhood. But what I find in our age bracket a lot is it starts with a death in the family. because that just brings out, and I know from my own experience, that brings out the true personalities of people when you have a death in the family and somebody close to you. And so
Right.
I see that a lot with siblings. The parents pass away, and then there's just all kinds of things that come out that they have been holding on to since childhood. Can be, pretty ugly sometimes.
Yeah. And I think too that, everybody, especially if mom or dad is the matriarch or patriarch of the family, let's say, for example, they, become weaker or more vulnerable. Passing that torch on in a family of who's going to be the new leader, who's going to take that on. And the other side of it is somebody's stuck being the caregiver and everybody else is living their their own lives, normal. That can build up resentment too. And so we want to talk a little bit this hour about how to get through this. Why is it important to forgive? And obviously there's different things. And Lori has sent me kind of an outline, and I'm going to, just for the sake of time frame, I'm going to list each one of them, Lori, if that's okay. And you
Okay,
can give us a brief
that sounds good.
overview. So you listed the word betrayal. Tell us a little bit about how betrayal plays into this.
Again, betrayal, that can come out in different forms, and a lot of it's perception. We're perceiving that somebody betrayed us, and we were just talking about family members passing, and I found that in my own life is that it can be something as simple as proximity. I was not living close by, so it made it a lot more difficult for me to participate in some of those daily daily activities and daily caregiving. And so then that was perceived as betrayal, that I wasn't doing my part, that kind of thing. So it can come up just in something as simple as that. So a lot of that, I think, is our perception. We are viewing the other person.
Well, and I think it's also a lot about money. I'm going to borrow this and I'll pay you back. Or, you said you were going to give this to me and I didn't get it, or things like that. There's that element of, I feel betrayed, I think. But the other side, what you're saying is that it's a perception, right? To learn to open up and to, talk about it in a positive light is important, right? So
I think it's very important. And I think the first step is really recognizing it.
Yeah,
I think,
true.
and again, going back to my own life and losing a parent and feeling like, I feel like there were some unresolved issues with one of my siblings, that he had unresolved issues with my dad. And then that came out as, it had to be assigned to me because I was very close with my dad. And so I feel like that kind of, I was sort of the target. I don't know if to say target, because I feel like, again, that's a perception he had, but I think sometimes our energies have to go somewhere. And so that perception of the other person can manifest that way. And I think the first step is really recognizing it.
And that, I think, goes along with a lot of different things, whether it's loss or grief, it's feeling like you've been treated unfairly, or anything like that, unmet expectations, you've listed. So talking about getting through this is an important time to really think about what's going on. If you're feeling a resentment or anger or not forgiving someone, what was the issue and how do you deal with the issue on your own? And I think that's one of the things we're going to talk about this hour. So in the meantime, Lori, how do we reach you?
Oh, well, the best way is my website, and it's Hudson Insurance Solutions. So it's HUTSON insurancesolutions.com. And I can help with insurance needs in Washington or refer out to other areas for insurance needs. And I'm happy to share professional contacts that I have if people need those.
Right. Well, and again, Lori is here on behalf of Humana, who is our main sponsor of the Vitality Revolution. And Lori and I are going to be right back right after this. We at Answers for Elders thank you for listening. Did you know that you can discover hundreds of podcasts in our library on senior care? So visit our website and discover our decision guides that will help you also navigate decision making. Find us at answersforelders.com.